Can you hear me okay? Hi. Awesome. So I just want to kind of hang out with you guys and do something fun. I'm just kind of messing around with some craft stuff, and I would like to show you guys a little bit of design with 3D stuff. I was thinking about making a cabin out of, I have, let's switch. There. I have a whole thing of dowels, and I'm allergic to mosquitoes. I was going to use sticks, but I didn't want to go out and get a million mosquito bites to gather sticks. So I got dowels. So we'll make it work. Um, but if you guys have any questions about 3D stuff, I can walk you through examples. I can talk about printers. I just really would love to see more people in the community get into 3D stuff because there are just so many uses and it just fits in so well into the crab hobby. So, thank you, Stacy and Lauren. Lauren said excited to see your art. Stacy said me too. So, well, actually, the 3D printers I use are super great for like entry level. They are completely enclosed, so you don't have to worry about temperature issues. And they're only about $300 a piece. And that's what I use to make all my stuff. It's called the Flash Forge Adventurer Light. So it's really inexpensive. And a whole roll of filament, it's like this big and it weighs a kilogram. It will print anything you can imagine, and it really, really goes longer than you'd think. They're about $20 a piece. So the whole thing's really affordable, if I can convince you anymore. So I have started, yeah, really. I've started this. I'm thinking about a cabin, and oh, yes, board games. They're great for board games. It should be. It should be on your Santa list. Um, so I was thinking about a cabin, and I want to make a 3D printed removable tray that comes out either the front or the back. So you can put moss and stuff in there, but it doesn't have to have like a big opening at the top or anything removable like that. So I've already been playing with silicone. if I know Carol Fox knows this, but I love silicone. Most people hate silicone, but my silicone gun lives with me. So, just any of your questions, just go ahead and ask. We'll just hang out. I'm open to any kind of questions. I can share my screen. We can go design stuff. It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm just marking these so I can cut them down. This is 5 inches wide. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, that was me. I talked to you last night. Creating the shell rings. Let's see. Let me open that file and I'll switch over. Okay, let me make it so I can see your comments. There we go. So the shell rings, this is my 3D file. This is Tinkercad. I use it for everything, and it's free software, so you can use it too. The shell rings, one of the basic shapes you can use is this tube. And they're made out of this tube. And these, let's see, it's been a while since I designed these. You can adjust height by dragging, and you just put in whatever shapes you want. So the wall thickness, this is in millimeters. So all I did was I went in, the walls are 2 millimeter thick. The radius, I went and did the math for the radius for every single inch segment. And then if you click this little button up here, it divides it. And you can see all the pieces that go into each of the little shell rings. So you have the outside ring, and then you have the little block with the number on it, and then you have the numbers themselves, and then the outside ring. So, I mean, the possibilities are really endless when it comes to designing things. You can do everything as simple. Here, let's go back and let's do something really simple. So I want to make a tray for my cabin. So it's 5 inches. So let's do 4.5 millimeters. So it's 114 millimeters. Lauren, this is Tinkercad. And all you have to do is log in. And you can log in with your Google or your Facebook. And it's free. It's great for teachers. It's just fun to play around with. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff in this program. You can even take this one. You can take an Arduino, which I don't know if you know anything about designing technology, but this is an Arduino board. You can like make little custom computer gadgets with it. Anyway, it does all kinds of stuff. This actually works. Like it actually acts like a piece of technology, but that doesn't have anything to do with hermit crabs. So if we want to make, let's see, it was 114.3. We can do 114.3. The rings, the small parts, you can generate text and numbers. So that was that. But then I went in and I did one separate. And the math is kind of complicated. Going from inches to millimeters never works out well. But the numbers you can add, and then I organized them, and them being so small, there was like little pieces that I had to like add little cylinders and stuff to take out of that. I keep forgetting my number. 3. 114.3. So we have our 114.3. I'm going to make it 115 just to be easier on myself. And that's millimeters. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren's happy to learn. Let's see if I missed any questions. Yes, Kelsey, definitely check it out. I love it. It's just like Legos, except the Legos can go inside each other. Crabmas. Oh, thank you, Kelsey. So let's make this a tray. So these two shapes up here, these are holes. And you can make any of these shapes. You can even make, on the shell gauges, the text are the holes. I stare at the machine going question mark. Yes, I'd be happy to help you. Okay, so we're gonna, if you put it right in the corner, it'll automatically it'll like set itself in the corner. If you have like a more complicated shape, or if I would have went with the 114.3 millimeters, you could select both of these shapes and then click this button, and it lets you put things exactly in the corners. And then once it's deselected and you select it again, it'll tell you exactly how far you move it. I'm pointing at my screen. It tells you, oh, I'm blocking the screen too. There we go. It'll, once it's in the corner and you move it out of the corner, it'll tell you exactly. So 2.2 over 2.2. And then if you look at the bottom, you can see the hole sticking out the bottom. And I want the tray for the little cabin to have a bottom, so we're going to click this little black arrow right here and move it up 2. And then we're going to drag it all the way over here to this corner. There's that. And then drag it into, let's see. My buggos were happy with all the egg crate stuff. That's great. I kind of got on a tangent, but we are doing. I was going to, if I have time, if there's breaks between questions, in a little bit of designing. I do have some sticks that I'm making a thing with. Doesn't printing take hours for items? It does. Some of my larger items that pretty much take up my whole print bed, so the ones that are about, like, my print bed's almost 6 inches by 6 inches, like cubular. So my items that are about that size can take up to like 12 hours. If they're more complex, then they can take like 24 hours. I think the longest print I've done was 3 days, and I don't know where it is, but it's a marble machine. It's like one of the most popular prints on Thingiverse. I've thought about putting it in my crab tank. But you can really do a lot with any size. You can, the fountain in my crab tank is actually 4 different prints, and they're silicone together. Yes, I have a fountain. So each of those pieces of the fountain took about 11 hours each. Where did I put my phone? I think I turned my phone off. I will post a picture on the CrabCon Facebook, so watch for it, of my fountain. I'll post a picture of my fountain, I promise. So anyway, we have our bowl cube tray, and it's got the hole in it in the outside. So we're going to click this little button up here, and we're going to merge them together. And like magic, we have a tray. So if you want food bowls, you could do food bowls in any shape you want. You can do, if you wanted to, you could add holes to this and attach it to something. It's really anything you could imagine you can put together and make. And it's absolutely wonderful. Every crab keeper needs a 3D printer. and all the things that are like free to download that you can just like put in your slicer, which is a program that translates it so your printer can understand it. There are so many things you can just download. I'm sorry that I'm encouraging you to spend money, but you need one. So we got our tray. I'm gonna print this. The plastic comes in rolls. Each printer has a millimeter. It's usually 1.75, and that's like the tolerance of how thick the like strand is. So it comes on a big roll, and you put it on the side, and it feeds it into. Most printers have a cold end and a hot end. So the cold end draws it in and pushes it through a tube out the hot end. And then it prints it in little layers out of the hot end. So it's PLA plastic. Susceptible to heat, but not sure how much so. I know the kind mine has. Yeah, food grade PLA is good. Most PLAs are really fine. You want to avoid things that have like weird additives, like glow in the dark PLA. You could look up if glow in the dark is like a powder, the stuff that makes things glow in the dark. It's like a powder. I don't know if it's safe for crabs. It's also kind of hard on your printer. If you're going to do glitter, I know I haven't found a safe glitter filament, but I know Meredith has. You have to make sure the glitter is not foil based glitter. And most manufacturers, if you look hard enough, you can figure out all the chemicals that are in the PLA. But as a general rule, most of the Kelsey said, "Oh God, that's getting wider than I even thought about yet." If you're worried about it, just stick with like the plain colors, like black, red, yellow, orange, green, blue. Just like if you're worried about it and you just want to buy something and like not think that hard about it, just step away from the silks, step away from the glitters and the glow in the darks and the textures, and they have some with stone and some with wood. Just back off, just back away from all that. Just go with the standard colors. You won't have much to worry about with those. Almost all of them are going to be safe. Purple, yes. Actually, they've had a shortage in purple. It's really terrible. I think Stacy's kind of mad at me that I haven't been restocking anything purple for like 6 months. Yep. I'm sorry, Stacy. It is a huge rabbit hole, but it's so fun to go down. It's like anything with designing stuff for your crabs. You learn something new every day, and things just keep getting better. Probably due to my 7x7 hide. I had to buy a pink shell gauge set. Yep. Sorry, Stacy. It is a FlashForge Adventure Lite. You can get a more expensive FlashForge Adventure, but really the only difference is it has a camera. Hold on. Yeah, so here, we can look it up. Yeah, so this is the ones I use. They're really simple to use. If you want to go with something more complicated, if you like working on things, then you can get some that you build yourself, and they are completely customizable, and you can tune and play and upgrade and put in software and do all the things you could possibly want to do. But this one is super easy to just like set up and go. And it's enclosed, so you don't have to worry about it getting dusty. If you want, you can unplug it, roll up the cord, stick it inside, throw it in a closet. It's only like 30 pounds. Oh, it's backwards. It's the FlashForge Adventure 3 Lite. I'm just gonna like start making a list of things to put in a post after this chat, and I'll get you. I should see if they have an affiliate program. Yeah, probably. Oh, it's not backwards. Okay. But yeah, they're really reasonable. Oh, it's blurry. Okay. But it's super easy to use. Oh, like if you see 3D printers in libraries or schools, they're probably going to be this one. Get a new one. Well, Kelsey, once you get a new one, if you get this one and start learning how to use it, maybe you'll get back into your other one. You should also check if your libraries have 3D printers, because a lot of libraries now are having 3D printing labs. So if you haven't been to your library lately, you should check in and see if they'll help you print some crab stuff. I really didn't mean this to be a sales pitch for something that I don't even make. It's one step one, Dakota. It's step one to you, Canadian decor. That's great. Does anybody have any more questions, or should I go back to crafting? Krusty wants one. Hopefully he can use it. That's great. So another thing that I was thinking that the cabin should have is some shutters, and I'm not sure. I didn't really think too far ahead of how I want to do this. So let's try to make some shutters. So I think 2 inches would probably be reasonable. My sticks are 5 inches, so that'd leave an inch and a half above and below the windows. So 50. I have too many tabs open. So let's do 50. And you could make a mushroom house. The one thing to understand about designing when you are getting ready to print things is when you're printing stuff, you have the option to add supports. But the thing about supports is they do make the print kind of messy. So I try to like design things around not having supports. So the way the printer works is it has the pad and it lays down the filament level by level. So think about it like that mobile game where you have like the plate sliding over the other one and you have to like click to stop it. And if you click it too far over, it falls off. So if you think about it like that, so you like if I was going to add a handle to this, I would like put it on the ground. Like something simple like this would work really well. So then I would have something to pull it out. What software am I using? This is Tinkercad. It's a free online software. Highly recommend you just go play with it for fun. It's a good time. Yes, it's kind of like hot glue. If you have a space that's close enough together and you have all your settings right, it can go over that space. They actually make like little gauges that show how far your printer can go over spaces, so you know. You can download those online and then like test and see how precarious your prints can get. So, but yeah, you could put a knob up here, but when it went to start printing the knob, it'd just be printing in thin air. And it's actually kind of funny how impressive it is that it will like make spaghetti stuff and then it'll start building a quality print on top of like this pile of spaghetti. It's like they have a personality of their own sometimes. So let's move over where you can see it. Let's make this a little bit smaller. And let's make it 1 millimeter tall. Pull that up. And then we could put designs in here. I'll have to finish this and post pictures of it too. I'm going to have so many things to post on Facebook. Or I ordered last night super cool stuff. I'd love to get one, but I have too many hobbies now. I'll just stick with supporting other crabbers. That's great. And there's always going to be people who just don't want to do it, who don't want to get into it. But it is so much fun. Yes, it's very plug and play, and the shapes get really, really advanced. Like, there's stars and diamonds. If you're just like, sometimes they'll have like people in classroom design like scenery with it, so you can have like everyday objects. It doesn't want to load, but there it is. You can just put down a MacBook, like a full MacBook, and it's just there. So you can do so many things with this, and like, pretty much, if you look at anything, it's everything's made of shapes. So you can make anything out of just random shapes. Yes, you should. It's great. You were officially banned from this hobby. Amazon, yes. And they do have them on Amazon. They are 1 day shipped, so you could have a 3D printer tomorrow and start. Make sure to buy a roll of filament because it only comes with like a little teeny package. I'm gonna switch you back to my hands and we'll actually do some crafting. It's in my cart. I don't know how to do the design part. Well, I do have designs that are downloadable. And then of course there's, okay, let's switch back to the screen. There's, we'll just go peruse Thingiverse. So this is Thingiverse. It's made by MakerBot, which is a brand of printer. I like this because most of the files are pretty okay as far as like viruses. But there are tons of websites. You can get websites that have like subscriptions and stuff. But let's look through here. You could make a garage for your crabs and have car lifts. You could make cat and mouse and stick it on the wall in your crab tank. The classic benchy. It's a print that's kind of a test print because it's got all these overhangs, but they've like modified it into like a big benchy. Dice towers. Whose crab wouldn't love a dice tower? The black pearl. I'm sure it's here. AR. There's a coin. They don't have this one printed. There's, oh, there you go, Stacy. You need a pirate ship? You can make one. Let's see if I can find that Star Wars thing that I was talking about in the other. This I thought would be really cool. You could find it, even like has a dish that you put on there, but you could find a dish to put on here. You could find it like a dish that sits right here, or even just use this dish and just like put stuff on it. But I mean, obviously they're not designing for crabs, but you could make it for your crabs. Hi, Janine. Do they need a moon man or a flower pot? Their own QR code? A little spider? This guy? The little bomb guy? You could stick that to the wall in your crab tank and it'd be so cool. There's just like jumbo huts since, yes, definitely. I've been working on one, but it's just kind of wobbly. It's There's a mermaid. I don't. Uh, Eastern Ireland head pin holder. Pac-Man piggy bank. Okay, I think that's enough of perusing Thingiverse. It's just thingiverse.com. You can go check it out. Further convince yourself to let me sell you a printer that I'm not actually selling. A water bowl shaped like a boat. That would be cool. Why have you missed 2 weeks of work? I have 2 more weeks to go with my 3D printed pirate ship. A crab refrigerator. I made a couch, and I think Janine actually got one, but it's the first piece in a crab living room that people have been convinced that I need to make. Mainly my fiance. For some reason, crabs are really cute when they're like using people things. Does anybody else have any more questions? It's about time for main stage too. But what is the main stage that's coming up? What all do I make? Uh, frugal feeding. Okay. Thank you guys. I make all kinds of stuff. I really love. I have a little Krabby Co-op, and you can look it up. It's on Etsy. Oh, it's also in the booths. I have a booth. Um, but I don't want to do too much of a self promotion, so you're free to go look at it. But I do a lot of hides, some bowls, um, a lot of things. I've really been enjoying making things that stick to your wall. If you've never seen this Gorilla mounting tape, it is the best. You can cut it to any size you want, and um, it holds to the prints and the glass really well. I know a couple other people use it. To me, it's better than command strips. I know people have had a lot of luck with command strips, but I love that you can cut this to any size you want. So definitely love this. And if you get any of my stuff and the tape falls off, because sometimes the crabs get like sand wedged in there, just get yourself a roll. uh, you can get it at Menards, Home Depot, Walmart. I think I have a package. Yeah, there. Gorilla mounting tape, clear, indoor, outdoor. I get the big rolls, but you don't have to. I will add that to my list of things to post on Facebook after this is over. Oh, I almost forgot. That fell. I have this. This may be something that won't hurt your wallet as much. It is a 3D printing pen, and it's not as advanced. It's kind of like a glue gun that really never stops putting out glue, but it's really cool if you just want to like kind of fiddle around with making little things. You plug it in and you load the filament into one end, and then of course that's the plug. You put the filament in here, so you just let the roll feed in and it pushes it out the tip at an even speed. um, And then you can like draw things on wax paper and then like pull them off the wax paper and like set them up next to each other and then use the pen like a hot glue gun and connect things together. This is a nicer one. I think it was still only like $30. I think you can get a really inexpensive one for like 15. They're pretty, it takes a little bit to get the hang of it, but once you do, they're pretty easy to use. So that is a good alternative if you are interested in making things of the 3D type. Like here on the side, it has like an example of the Eiffel Tower. So what they did was they went through and they like drew out each one of these sides and then they stacked them up together or taped them together, whatever they needed to do, and then they went up the edges, the corners. Yeah, they're really cool. Like you can get ones for children's for children. It may not last super long, but you can, if you get one for like 10-15 bucks and play with it and like it, you could always get a nicer one. But yeah, there's another example of a little crane, and again they took the wing and made that and then pulled it off and made the tail and made that and the head and the back and then just like fused them all together. With the 3D printer you get really straight lines and everything's really exact. This kind of, it, they call it a 3-doodler, and they're here, the things you make will really come out stylized and very doodly, but it's still a good time. And you can also, if you get a 3D pen and a 3D printer, I just feel like I'm selling you all kinds of things. If you get a 3D pen and a 3D printer, I got this one. I got this one for Christmas, but I added it to my Amazon wish list before I got it for Christmas. It's called a Scribed Advanced. They make a non-advanced scribe pen that's less expensive, but I really like this one. You can take things that you've 3D printed and like if you print something and it's too smooth for your crabs, you could take it out of your tank and wash it, let it dry, and then add like texture with this. I had a custom tree in my store, but it sold, and it was one of my black trees and it had green moss all the way up it, and I did that with this, as well as the yellow and black insides of my flowers. So that's really neat. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. I was going to do something, but now I forgot. Oh, yes. I have everything but a pen. I have a highlighter. I have my little CrabCon book. I didn't look all the way through it. Good, there's a section for notes. So I need a picture of the fountain, a link for the printer, a link for the pen, and there's something else. I'll remember eventually. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the roof of my cabin, because I want them to be able to climb up it. On another thing I made, I took like just a textured plate and I used it as the roof, so that would be kind of neat. I wonder if we could design like a roof tile pattern that wouldn't be like you'd almost have to like flare it up to be like proper so they don't fall off of it. Because I could just see them sliding off the roof. And although that'd be interesting, I don't know if they'd be super fond of that. So I wonder if I could use corkwood. I have some corkwood. I could also put boxwood on the top. I could also just use egg crate. What about a wood board texture? I feel like a wood board texture would be interesting. Let's make, we'll join this together. And then we'll see what we can do about some kind of like board. I'm going to make it 3 high. These little arrows on the side, they rotate things. I could have just resized it to be, I could have just swapped these numbers, but so can I make a welcome sign? Yeah. Whoa, that's really tall. Let's just go ahead and do that real quick. So you could do it 2 ways. They have a text option. And you can put it wherever you want, and you can change it however you want. There's actually fonts. So they have all these generated fonts. There's a text with more fonts. There's a text somewhere that has more fonts than this. There's like a more cursive one, and like almost like a Western looking font. They have all kinds of stuff. So you could either do it like this, where it would print all the letters above the surface, or you could make this a hole and then join them together, and it would be an outlier, or it would be a indentation. The thing about doing that is you're going to have to keep in mind that these are obviously not connected to anything except for like the bed when it's printing. So if you did it all the way through, then you would have these that you would have to attach separately, but that's not the biggest deal. Or you could, let's go back to regular shapes. You could make a background. You can make it like a stylized background with a frame. Really anything you can think of. And then that would print together. But yeah, anything you want. Does anybody else have any more questions? I noticed it is almost 2:15, so I think I'm going to wait until 2:15. If nobody has any more questions, I'm going to go watch the main stage talk. Seems like a lot of people have dropped off and headed over there already. Thank you guys for being here. It was really fun to talk to all of you guys. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me in my store and I'll get back to you as soon as you can, or send me a message on my Facebook page, my little Crabby Co-op Facebook page, so I know that it's crab related and I don't have to respond to it right away. But I'm happy to help you guys with whatever you want to do, whatever kind of startup you need to do, if you need help troubleshooting. I would love to see more people get into the hobby. People make all kinds of cool and crazy things, and everybody just approaches it different. Okay, well, I'm gonna go watch the main stage talk. Thank you guys again. I have a bunch of talks on Sunday, so I'll see you in person. Well, me in person then. Thanks, guys.